In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a multilingual app in Power Apps Canvas app. So to start with, you can go into make.powerapps.com, select your correct environment and click on create blank app and a blank Canvas app. So I'll call it as multilingual app. Now, there is no direct way through which you can readily convert everything in a Canvas app to a multilingual, full fledged app. You need to do some manual things. But I'm going to show you and touch base on some of the important language related fields which you can use within your Canvas app. To start with, first, what we will do, we'll first click on, say, one text button. Okay. Now, this text button basically is a simple text button, and here, like if I just type in, say, value, and then I'll put some text. Okay, and then here, like once I put comma, I will be able to see all the supported language within this particular Canvas app. Now, why I did this is just to show you what are the different language types which you can use. Now, just by looking into this name, you can see this for China, uh, and then you can say for various other countries you can use various things, like for Netherlands, for Korea, for Hindi, India, French, Spain, all those things you can say. So if you see a DE and then DD, then you have EN US, and then ES for Spain, and then Spain Spanish, Spain Mexico. So like this, you'll be able to see all the languages. Now, this is just one example to see the languages thing within the Canvas app. Now, there is a function called as language function. Now, if you see here, it will basically give you the default language. Now, for this text box, I've just used this language function and it is giving me the default language for this particular Canvas app. So it is ENUS. Okay. Now, we have to take the first two component on from the left hand side. So it's En. We just want to extract En. Now, in order to extract En from this text, what we can do is we can use a left. Okay, so a left function basically. So I'll just say left of the language, and then I just want the first two characters. So it has given me now En, just En, right? And then just for safety purpose, what we will do, we can convert this into lower as well. Okay, so what we have done, we have got en dash us, but now we have taken that and then made it to en, right? So that means this is the English language. So I'm just setting those stage for those translation. Okay, so I'll just keep this text box over here. Now, so let's assume you have the simple app. So you have a text over here. Okay, so you have two text label, and we have two text inputs, right? So let's assume this is your simple Canvas app. Okay, so I'm not going to create a very complex Canvas app, but just a simple Canvas app to show you this behavior, and then how you can use it for different languages, right? Now, uh, first thing, if you want to convert this into different languages, so take for example, in my case it is currently set to English, and if I want to change everything into French or Hindi or any other different language for Canvas app, how do I go ahead and do that? So for that, I need to first ask user to select from a drop down, right? So I will be requiring a drop down, so I'll be selecting a drop down over here. Now, from a drop down perspective, what I can do is, like, I can make this hard coded value, or maybe I will take it from some file. Okay. Now, there is a documentation for language function in learn.microsoft.com, and where they have given you a various approaches where how you can use different languages for your application. Now, there is a table. You need to create a following table in Excel with, say, text ID, language tag, and localized text. Now, text ID is the label name, okay? And the language tag is the language tag, like EN for English, IT for Italy, FR for French, so like this, and the localized text. So what we're going to do, we are going to create an Excel file similar to this, okay? So I've already created a schematic for this Excel. So let's copy this content. So let me call this as text ID, language tag, and localized text. Localized text. And in the text ID, I'm going to just type in, say, first name, and I'll just put first name, and I'll say last name and last name. Now, language tag for me, first one is en, then I will select, say, French, fr, for last name en, and then French. Okay. Now, for the localized text, let me call Google Translate. So, English to French. Say first name, I'll just copy this field, and for French, I'll just put it like this, and for last name, and this is last name. And for localized text, for English is first name, and for last name it's last name. So this is a simple table which I have just created. This is how the table will look like. Three columns: text ID, language tag, localized text. I'll just create a table out of it, and then I will name this table as, say, lang translation. This is just a simple table, right? So this is in an Excel format. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to just close this table, right? Now, going back to our Canvas app, here as a part of the data connection, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into data, add data, and if I can select Excel, import from Excel, add static data to your app. You can use Excel Online as well. Just say download and Canvas app multilingual.xlsx. Now here, now for this drop down, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select the data item. So items is, now I've already created that connection for lang translation Excel file. So I'll just select it as lang translation. Now, moment I do that and I run this, I can see that in the drop down, I can see some values. Now, this is not what I wanted. What I wanted is, I wanted, if I go into this edit field, I will add a field and I'll say I want language tag. I'll click on add, and that's it. Close it and run this, and I can see I have this ENFR. Now, why it is coming as multiple? Because I have this 4 record, but what I want is a distinct record. So for that, I'll just close this, I'll select this, and I'll just wrap it up with a distinct function. Now for distinct function, lang translation, comma, and the language tag. I want to get the distinct of the language tag. Now, if I run this, see what happens. I don't see any value. For that, what you need to do, you need to just select this control, go to fields edit, and add a field, and click on value, add it, and remove this language tag. The moment you do that, click on save and then play, and then you will be able to select the language. Now, depending on this control, you can pick and choose. Like if you select en, you should see English language. If you say fr, you should see French language. Now let's make that change. So in the text here, this text box should pick up from the first name and the last name listed over here, right? So for that, what we are going to do, we are going to make use of a lookup function. So lookup function. So let me zoom this a bit. Now here for this first one, we're going to make use of lookup function. So the lookup where. Now if you see here, the control is first name. So we need to pick either from English or FR depending on your drop down selection. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to change this to lookup from the data source lang translation, where language tag equal to, you can select a dynamic variable based on the selection from this drop down, but I'm not going to make that change over here. Just I'll be just hard coding this to French, but then you can make it dynamic depending on your requirement. And condition is the text ID for this is first name, right? So I'll just say put first name. Now if we do this, so let me see what I've done wrong. So lang translation language tag equal to fr, and text ID equal to first name dot localized text. The moment you do that, you will be able to see the French equivalent for first name. Now, like this, what you can do, you can copy this. For this control, just copy paste it, and instead of first name, just put last name. And with this, you will be able to convert this control into control label into equivalent language selection. So you can hook this control with the logic over here. So instead of hard coding this to language, you can use a variable, you can set a variable, and then you can make it dynamically change. So like this, I've just shown you an example for a simple label control, but you can do this for your other controls as well. And then you can put a language selection on top of your page, and depending on the user's language preference, they can select this application. So application, so user will first select the language. So user, if user wants to select French, they'll select French, and then equivalently all this control will get translated into its equivalent. So this is how you use the language functionality within Power Apps Canvas app. Now, what we have done, we have used a simple Excel file which had a text ID of the control name, the language tag, and the localized text. And we have used this as a data source for our application. So that's it, folks. This is how you basically use language, multiple languages for your Canvas app. Thanks for watching.